Have you ever heard the term the seven ancient wonders of the world and wondered what these wonders were and why they became so famous? Get ready to satisfy your curiosity. The seven ancient wonders of the world were originally named by Philo of Byzantium, an ancient Greek mechanic who, as his name suggests, was born in Byzantium. However, he lived and worked in Alexandria, Egypt. Philo created the seven must-sees in and around his hometown, which later became known as the seven ancient wonders of the world. Of the seven, the only one still standing today is the Great Pyramid in Egypt. The Great Pyramid was built in 2650 BC in ancient Egypt as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu. Located on the Giza Plains, it is still the largest stone structure in the world today. It can fit 9 football fields inside of it and stands as tall as the Washington Monument, but obviously much wider. The fact that the ancients were able to build a massive structure like this is quite impressive, given their lack of modern technology. They dragged heavy pieces of stone by hand all the way from the quarry. Blocks on the bottom of this tomb weighed up to 5 tons. That's 10,000 pounds. This undertaking was so large it took 23 years to complete. It inspired some later ancient wonders of the world, as civilizations saw this and wanted to build their own architecture to show the power of their society. The next ancient wonder of the world is located in Babylon. Babylon was already an impressive city. Located on the Euphrates River, it had fortified walls that stretched 56 miles long. Since there was no stone, mud was baked into bricks, which made any construction more impressive. However, this great city became even more marvelous with the addition of the Hanging Gardens, built by King Nebuchadnezzar for his wife, Queen Amytis, who missed the rolling gardens of her home in Media. The records of the gardens tell of large collections of flowers and trees, beautiful scents, hidden machines for irrigation, waterfalls, and more. These terraced gardens could supposedly be seen from afar as a green mountain. However, there is no physical record of the Hanging Gardens, and the accounts are not reliable. It is possible that the gardens were destroyed when Babylon was conquered only 100 years after their construction, but it is also possible that they never existed at all and were merely legend. The next ancient wonder of the world was a 4-story tall ivory statue of Zeus, created in the 5th century BC for a temple in Olympia. It was sculpted by the same man who made the towering statue of Athena for the Parthenon, Phidias. It took the sculptor 7 years to create his giant masterpiece, and he used an interesting new technique. Instead of chiseling away from giant blocks of ivory, Phidias used strips of ivory that he could mold into specific non-rigid shapes. This was later copied in modern statues, like the Lincoln statue at the Lincoln Memorial. Although the techniques lived on, the ancient Greek statue itself did not. 800 years later, it was bought by a Byzantine art collector and then destroyed in a fire. Another ancient wonder of the world was also destroyed by fire, the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus. Twice the size of the Parthenon, this towering structure took over 120 years to build, but it was destroyed in just a single night, the night Alexander the Great was born, when a crazed pyromaniac called Herostratus burnt the temple down. He wanted to achieve eternal fame by being connected to the destruction of something so important, but the people refused to honor this wish and wouldn't record his name in their history books. However, a guy named Strabo decided that it was more important to accurately record the history of the temple, and wrote down Herodotus' name. After this destruction, the people tried to rebuild their work of grand architecture. However, it was destroyed again by the Goths, an invading tribe. 3rd time's the charm? No. They tried again, but this time Christians, disapproving of the pagan culture, brought it to an end. The Temple of Artemis was not destined to last. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus was a glorified tomb, built for King Mausolus. Mausolus was a strange king, marrying his sister and obsessing over the constant defense of the city. However, he did one thing well, choosing a scarcely known architect, Pythias, to design him an ornate tomb inspired by many different styles from around the world. There was a miniature Parthenon with Greek columns, tiered steps like the pyramids, and fantastic statues from the best artists of the time. It was the first building to have a statue on the top, a chariot pulled by 4 horses, in which Mausolus and his wife Artemisia rode. This beautiful, painstakingly crafted building was destroyed by an earthquake in the 15th century, and its parts were used in construction of a castle. Time for another big statue. However, the Colossus of the Rhodes was made entirely of bronze. and portrayed the ancient sun god Helios. It was built to celebrate the victory of Rhodes over neighboring Cyprus in 305 BC. The people wanted a grand monument to remember their success and decided to build a 120-foot statue that costs as much as 300 warships. There is much debate over the actual stance of the statue. Legends have twisted it into a taller and taller sculpture, with its legs standing on two different bases, wide enough apart for ships to sail in between. However, historians have decided that there is little truth to this fact, because the statue could not have been supported with this base. As it was, it already had support issues, and stood for only 56 years before being destroyed by an earthquake. However, it inspired the Statue of Liberty, and its influence is still being felt today. Last but not least, the lighthouse at Alexandria claimed its spot as one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Commissioned by Ptolemy I Soter, who succeeded Alexander the Great in ruling Egypt, it was located on the island of Pharos. 400 feet tall, it towered above the sea and could cast a beam 35 miles out across the water. It had a unique structure, with a rectangular base, octagonal middle, and circular top. However, it did not do too well standing up to earthquakes. If you're keeping track, this is the 3rd one that has destroyed an ancient wonder of the world. The structure was weakened due to these natural occurrences in 956, 1303, and 1323. The structure was damaged each time until it was no more in the 1400s. However, some remains can still be found underwater. The 7 ancient wonders of the world may not be as impressive as the structures we have today, but when you consider that the ancients built them with no modern technology, their success is monumental. They laid the groundwork for future architectural success and inspired other civilizations to build and showcase their abilities. Hopefully this has helped satisfy your curiosity about the 7 ancient wonders of the world. I'll see you next time when curiosity calls.